Welcome to the podcast. My name is Jamie Knight, and I am a realtor from Cajun Country, Lafayette, Louisiana. The goal of this podcast is to add massive value by bringing insider access to our area's top agents and from agents around the South. And I hope that you can grab a few things from their experiences to help you grow your own business. My guest today is a fellow real agent and fellow encourager and friend to all agents and past guest from the podcast, Michael Carr. Michael, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Jamie. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Yes. So today we were actually having a call session with a group of agents and really just finding ways that we can help new agents grow their business. So this entire podcast today is going to be on new agents and how they can actually grow their business. So I want to start with the first thing, and that is the reason why most agents fail. And what do you say? So that's the big topic we're going to jump off with, is why do most agents fail when it comes to being a brand new agent in our market?
Yes. Oh, man. And it was fun because we went around and asked other agents what, in the very beginning, what would you like to know? And man, that failure rate is such a dynamic number, like 87% in 2 years, I believe, is the numbers I've heard. So in my opinion, I think we came to that general consensus that it's many agents don't treat this like a business. They don't recognize that they are now an entrepreneur. And with that, I think becomes that not really being disciplined about time and understanding how to run yourself as a business. So I think that's the big one we hit on, right?
Yeah, definitely. We talked about the employee mindset versus the 1099 mindset that we are as realtors. And so talk to us a little bit about that. Like, what's your thoughts on that as far as how realtors are maybe coming from working for somebody to now working for themselves?
I think that's a big point right there. So most realtors have had a job and they come into this from a job, and the danger is bringing the job mentality in, that they're an employee. And many go to brokers thinking the broker hired them. I don't know how many, Jamie, you've talked to agents and they're like, oh, that broker hired me. And we're like,
yeah, so happy they hired me, right?
Yes, they hired me. And you're like, no, you're about to give them a crap load of your money. You hired them. That's what I like to tell people. You hire the broker. Go interview the broker. They're calling you because you're on the list. It's not flattery. They're trying to get you in their business because you will give them money, right? So treat it like a business from the very beginning. When you get out of school, you start interviewing brokers. And I think, Jamie, you can agree with me on this. It's not about the splits. It's about support. You need to go somewhere where you're going to learn the business of real estate for yourself, because there's a lot to learn. And the splits aren't going to mean anything if you don't sell any houses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I had a conversation with an agent that they were on like 100% split, right? You get to keep all the money, but there was like no value to me in that at all, right? There was no value. So if there's no value, I felt like, man, even if what we're doing right now and what we're building right now, like I didn't even for once consider that as a potential option for my business, because what we're building is so much bigger than the splits that are charged by our company and what's provided. So, I just thought that was something that it was refreshing to know that I was in the right spot. For not a split second did I consider 100% brokerage as even an option for me, because 100% of nothing is still nothing. So, yes, I think the splits and money are definitely important when it comes to new agents, right? And I'm not saying it's not important. So, like, I do feel like you need to really, for one, I think the most important part is being around a culture of agents and that are doing big things and putting yourself in the room with agents that are doing big things. What's your thoughts on the room that you need to be looking for when it comes to selecting a brokerage?
Absolutely. And I think you have to be fluid with your career in that too, because like just because you start at broker A and they teach you the fundamentals of real estate, as your business builds, you might need to relocate your business to a new broker that has a new support system or some other access that you're actually looking for, like bigger rooms, bigger people. always evaluate your business. I had a plan when I first started. Every year I would evaluate my business and the brokerage I was at and, determine is this where I'm going to stay for the next year. 1 year increments, not a lifetime. I didn't join any broker for life. I understood this was an actual business. And so every broker I've been to had value. So take the value, you paid for it, and then decide if you want to stay there. It's your business. And bigger rooms always build a better business. It just rubs off on each other. So if you find yourself the biggest person in the room, then go find a bigger room. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So lesson one, I think, of this whole thing, right, is it is your business, and you are the only one running your business. Your broker's not running your business. You are running your business. And I think that's the most important thing for a new realtor to understand is now they've come from the W-2, they've come from working for somebody to now working for themselves. And that is the lesson one, I think, of anything as far as a new agent is you are running your business and do so like a business owner, right? Mm-hmm. Make decisions accordingly, right? Into where you're spending money and where you're putting your time. So let's talk about, if I'm a new agent, where are we going? Where are we spending our time? And what are we doing as a new agent?
Yeah, so that's great because I think you have to be very disciplined about your time because with the freedom, they say, that
right.
comes with business, actually becomes a freedom to not do anything. And if nobody's telling you to do it, you wake up and decide whether you want to do it. And generally our feelings will overcome our decision-making process unless we have discipline. So to me, a calendar is fundamental. Like every day, I already know what I'm going to do before that day comes. And, it's real estate, so we're a little fluid. But you have to be disciplined about that time. Hire yourself every day. Get up in the morning and look yourself in the mirror and say, am I worth the wages that I plan to earn today? If I was paying myself, which I am, look at it like that. Am I going to be a good employee today? And I tell people, my God, you went to a freaking 9-to-5 job and you gave them everything. I mean, you would show up without a question when they told you to be there. You left when they told you to go home. Even if you were supposed to go home hours before, you stayed because that business needed you. You poured into someone else's business, and now you've got your own business. And it's mind-boggling to me that some agents won't show up for their own freaking business. And I'm going to get excited, so sorry.
No, hey, preach, baby.
Keep it real, man.
That's what we're on, man. That's what we're on, right? It's show up for yourself. So that's definitely lesson number 2 is show up, baby. Get out here, connect, find the right brokerage that you're going to connect with, you're going to vibe with, you're going to, feel like you can grow at, and you're around people who are growing their business, but show up to the rooms, right? I have so many amazing agents reach out to me, and they have a ton of potential, but they're struggling in their business. And I'm like, man, pull out your phone, man, and show me what you did today. Or, hey, I didn't see you at the office meeting. It was an amazing speaker, and they totally crushed it, and it was so much value in growing their business. And, you weren't even there at the office meeting. It's like you tell me you want to grow your business. You tell me you're struggling, but then I look at your phone and take an honest evaluation of what your phone activity was that day, and was there a lot of scrolling on TikTok and Instagram and all these other things, and then tell me whether or not that was a great thing, if you're running your business. Hell, you couldn't do that if you were working at McDonald's, right? They wouldn't even let you screw around and go and play around on TikTok and all this other stuff, but yet when you're working for yourself, you can go and do whatever you want to do. And I feel like that's maybe where I think that a lot of new agents don't make it, is they aren't disciplined enough in their daily schedule. And I think that it mainly, in my opinion, is because there's no instant gratification for showing up and working 8 to 5 every single day. And sometimes it's a delayed gratification when it comes to a commission, or your first sale may take months to be able to get that first sale. And it's a delayed gratification. And I think that's probably why it's so hard to maybe keep to that good schedule in the beginning. What's your thoughts on schedule?
Schedule is so important. And you made a good point there too. Think about this, and I've seen it, I know you've seen it. An agent does a little bit of grind and they get a transaction. mom, dad, aunt, somebody
gave them a
somebody's
chance.
listing their house or they're going to buy a house. So they got it, right? But then everything else stops in their world except that one transaction. And the minute it closes, they're off to spend the money. And again, they haven't done any other preparation for new business during that whole process. They focus entirely on this one deal. And then when it closes, they find themselves unemployed. They have no business. And now they're 3 months away from the next closing. And I say 3 months. Of course, we can give them a 30-day close. But what I'm saying is, generally, I look at everything in a 3-month block. What I do today pays dividends in 3 months, or it doesn't, depending if I don't do it today. So, yeah, agents have to stay consistent. So consistency to me is everything. Like, lead generation takes forefront of everything you do, especially the first few years. Until you're running off of referrals, you have to lead generate like an insane machine. Do whatever you have to do. Set that time apart, time block it, and there's no excuses. Like, Jamie, you just mentioned it. I have a couple agents that have set appointments with me, and I don't want to bash them. It's just business, and they don't understand the business of this thing maybe at this point, but they have asked me for help, set actual appointments, and didn't even show up.
Yeah.
I didn't even call or text. Didn't think that, and I know you've had it.
Yeah.
You're a top producing real estate agent. Your time is worth something. And they just couldn't make it. And It's like, you're the one that needs the business, the help. People are willing to give it to you. You have to go out there and be aggressive in getting that help.
Yeah, absolutely. Aggression and just really drive and grind and all of those qualities, I think, are like super powerful in the real estate business, because no one's going to sit there and hand it to you, right?
Nah.
Like a broker might have leads, and that might pacify you for a little while when it comes to like leads, or somebody's buying something for you or doing something for you. But the reality is if you want to make it in the long term in this business, you have to prospect every single day. And, you have to go through these efforts of actually trying to generate opportunities for yourself. And we've been in the business for quite a while. But still, I've been in the business 21 years, and every single day I go through my notebook and I say, okay, who do I need to reach out to today to proactively put myself into a situation where I can have sales, like you said, in 3 months? Because if I didn't put in the work, even at 21 years, yes, I am afforded the opportunity to have some referral-based business and everything else. I am still in the business of prospecting and making calls and doing the things and the activities that will get me opportunities. Even today, we're doing calls. I jumped on a few calls and really tried to generate opportunities. So let's talk about the daily activities that realtors, new realtors, or struggling realtors right now need to do to be able to put themselves in the situation to have business. Let's put maybe leads aside. Let's talk about actually growing a real estate business. What are you telling an agent right now to grow a real estate business from the jump? What's the activities they should be doing every day?
What you just said earlier is a testament to your 21 years in the business, because you still come in and you still do that grind. Like there's no off days unless you're ahead, right?
And even if you are, I don't like.
Yeah,
but
maybe you can take your vacation, but you still. I know you, and I do the same thing. You're working on vacation, like you're still spending time. You carve out that time because now you're afforded it, but you still answer the phone or answer a text. Like you got to find that time somewhere. But anyway, so brand new agent. So we talked to some agents today, and we told them, or they told us, a few of their ideas, and one of the common ones was social media immediately. I would say this for new agents especially: evaluate that social media, and before you announce to the world you're a real estate agent, take down anything that you don't want people to see, because it is your new resume. It is your new resume. Everyone is going to look you up on social media, and you want them to see professional activity.
Yeah, see what you want. See what you
Yeah.
want them to see, right?
Yeah.
I think that's important. Fake it till you make it, right? Show them anything you want them to see. But I'll let you keep going. I wanted to insert that there.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you gotta get on there, get rid of if you party too hard, that's fun, but now you get to do it without pictures. Don't put it on social media.
Yeah.
Kind of tone it down because you want to be a professional. You want the world to see you as a professional, that you are. You earned this license. Now go out there and make sure everybody knows you have it and you're ready to go to work for them. Start going to your sphere of influence. You'll hear that from every broker. It's the very first thing you should do. And it's because people don't actually pay as much attention to you as you do, right? Like, I knew I was a licensed real estate agent, but nobody else did the first few months, right? Does that make sense? And so I hear all these stories about, oh, so-and-so used another agent, and I'm his cousins, brothers, uncles, nephews, whatever. It doesn't matter. They didn't know
that you were a realtor.
Maybe that you were even a real estate agent. And if they did, do they trust you yet?
Yeah.
Have you shown them any value? So those are important. Start working on your value, going to every training class you can get a hold of. There's so much stuff on that's free on the internet. Like, I lived on YouTube and, of course, Ricky Carruth, which I know you followed. Like,
absolutely.
I would just immerse myself in free training, anything I need to know, and I feel like every agent should just do that. It's there. It's free. Get the info. Make yourself valuable. Start doing open houses. Why? For one, you need to find buyers. Two, you're going to learn to talk to people. You can't get through this business without talking to people, right? So you have to put yourself in positions to have conversations. Conversations lead to conversions. Anything you can do to put yourself in front of people is going to help you. You might suck at it at first, but it's fine. You're going to get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, do the reps.
I've been in the business for 21 years, and I remember, and I was telling my daughter about this today, matter of fact, and I was telling her that when I started in the business 21 years ago, it was so different, right? Because it was like, there was books out there, of course, about being a realtor or whatever there is, but, YouTube wasn't as big as it was now, 21 years ago. Podcasts, I don't even know if that was a word that people said. I'm sure there were audio recordings of different things, but you had only your broker or fellow agents, I guess, to chat with about growing your business, and you kind of had to find your way through a grind and an effort that was made every single day. And when I started 21 years ago, I brought 5 listings into my first office meeting. And I remembered, and again, I was new. I didn't know any better. I just knew I had to go out and grind, have conversations with for sale by owners, expired listings, knock on doors. And I remember when I brought in all this opportunity this first week, and the office, I thought they would have supported me, but they were very negative, which was super surprising. And I was like, man, like, what is their problem? Like, I'm a new agent. I'm out here grinding. I don't know any better. I just need to bring in a bunch of listings to the office. And I just remember that like it was yesterday. And this was, 2004 or whatever. And I'm like, obviously I wasn't in the right group of agents at that time, right? But I just didn't know any better. So I just, went out and got the opportunity. But I guess where I'm going with this is, at that time, all I knew was what my broker taught me, right? And he just said, you need to go out and knock for sale by owners and knock expireds and do whatever you need to do to just generate opportunity. So I did it, and I got it, which was great. But at that time, I was only able to grow my business as far as that particular broker or brokerage would take me. Right now, the options are like totally unlimited, and it's absolutely insane how much ways that you can grow your business. I mean, podcasts, YouTube, in-office trainings that we put on a lot as well. Everything that you're doing, you could absorb it like a sponge, and there's so many ways to grow your business. Now, more than ever, it's like having all the information at your fingertips that you can just consume. So the reason why it just baffles me how agents can fail. In my mind, I think the only reason they're failing is that they aren't showing up and doing the activities that are presented to them in these podcasts and in these YouTube sessions and everything else. They just aren't doing it. That's the only reason I can possibly think about. So a new agent, I would just say the only way you can fail with all the opportunities and everything that we have in our world is just by not showing up. I mean, So anyway, crazy parallel. And I went on a
feel
tangent.
like-
Sorry.
No, it's cool because that's important to note. I mean, my God, like you said, 20 years ago, you didn't have any of this stuff. And my parents, my mom was a real estate agent in the 80s, right? 90s. Of course, they didn't have any of this stuff either. So she's always amazed at the stuff we do just because it's there and it's free. Like, think about that. You'd have to run a commercial and maybe you could afford a slot in the middle of the night or something on public television to even get exposure. And now everybody in the world has 18 different social media platforms, and it's free. Like, at that level, it's free. It takes time and all that stuff. So it's a whole new world. Maybe I feel like a lot of agents suffer from shiny object syndrome.
Absolutely.
So many choices, and they all take you away from fundamentals, right? And so, like, if I don't want to do the hard things, I'll do the shiny object things. And unfortunately, they wind up even paying for these things or spending so much time and energy pursuing the easy route, when I'm just telling you from life experience, the hard way is the way. It just always is. It's more rewarding. You'll learn more, and it actually is the one that's going to get you where you need to go. I think I was talking about that quote earlier. Warren Buffett says, master the proven models before adding your creativity. Now, maybe some of you know who Warren Buffett is or you don't, but Warren Buffett is considered the greatest investor of all time, and he has a very monotonous, boring investment strategy, which most investors hate because they want to go for the big win. But what he's saying here is, just like real estate, there's proven models, things that work. If you do those first, then you'll know what to add later. Right? Does that make sense? Like,
Absolutely.
if you know how to get on that phone and hustle up business, talk to different people, have different conversations, if you know how to go to open houses and convert and have a strategy, if you mastered those basic models, then you can add creativity. Then you can add TikTok dancing or whatever it is. I'm not doing it, but it works for some people. But I guarantee you, they also have some proven models behind what you see up front, the successful ones, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about our favorite ways that we generate opportunities for our business. And let's talk about the way, in my opinion, to generate opportunities, and that is making phone calls. Do you agree with me on that?
I mean, I have tried to do everything around that. It was a fundamental that I got onto early because I did recognize it's the direct path to a prospect was that telephone, and all roads lead to the phone. If I go buy $1,000 worth of Zillow leads, they're going to call me. I'm going to talk to them on the phone, right? And so knowing that, I like to take the offensive route and say, well, what if I call them first? What if I call them first and convert a prospect into a relationship and later on a client? So, like, to me, it's there, it's free, and it always works. I don't care. People hate it. I don't love it. I mean, I don't know anybody that absolutely just loves it, but I embrace it, right? And I've found a way to make it comfortable for me, which I share with the agents in our group here. One came in this morning. She hasn't made a phone call for probably a year because she's really rocking it in her area. She doesn't need to, but she ran out of inventory. So she showed up today, got aggressive, said, I need to make calls. And she said, because when I do, it always works. So this is an agent that's selling lots of houses, but she had a need to fill, and she knew if she got on that phone, it would change. And it did. 5 calls in, she set up a 11-acre, $300,000 listing, just like that. Now, it doesn't always happen like that, but you know what I'm saying? Just because she knew what worked. She didn't have to do that. She could have kept doing what she was doing and survived, but she said, no, I got to go to the well. I got to get it. I know where it's at.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I would say this about phone calls or reach outs or, being in person with people is trying to extend that good feeling that you had with someone in the long term. And I think that's what our goal of our call sessions usually is, to obviously make a friend, have a conversation with somebody. It's not to sell them on anything. It's just to add value to their life. And then it's to try to get where we can find a way that we can reach them in the long term, right? And one of the strategies that I use, and I know you do as well in your business, is a weekly email. So our goal is to get them into our ecosystem, which is a weekly email, and or using a prospect system in the MLS to send them valuable content by the way of homes in their neighborhood or those type of things. So if I had to go back in my business over 20 plus years, what I would tell you that maybe mistakes that I've made was not being as organized with the opportunities that I had through those last 20 years. Had I been doing a weekly email back in those days, I would have 100,000 emails in my weekly email database, and that could have allowed me to really be a top producer in my community without very much effort at all. But I feel like most realtors, if you think about every single person is an opportunity long term. They may do business with you 6 months or a year, but they also know so many other people that they can refer to you as well. So if you can extend that good conversation long term through some strategy, super important. I would highly recommend new agents find a way to either use a CRM or a notebook, which I tend to like to use a notebook, write the opportunity down, find a way to extend that good conversation that you had with your aunt or your uncle or your person that you're reaching out to at an open house. So thoughts on long-term reach outs?
Yeah, no, that's great. And I know you do this really well. So maybe the new agent doesn't have a dialer system yet and they're just trying to get into it. Touching your sphere of influence is a connection. I know you do that. You call your people. You go through your phone. You're like, I'm going to reach out to my last client a year ago, or however your system is. I don't know exactly how you do it, but you're always connecting and contacting them because that past client or that relative, they already know and like and trust you. They just need to remember you at this point. And so every time you touch them, you're keeping a connection with that relationship. You're showing concern for their life. You're not asking them for anything. You're just that person in their life that is keeping tabs on them, wishing them well. And they'll respect that. And if you just end each conversation, especially if it is just a relationship conversation, business relationship, wish them well, check in on them, and then just ask them if there's anything I can do to help you. You know where I'm at. They know what you're doing, and they respect you for doing it. It's a relationship game at the end of the day. So any way you can stay in touch, I think, is valuable.
Use whatever advice or scripts you need to do and use, and find your way, because it's got to sound like you and not Jamie or Mike. It's mainly find your way, right? But I don't feel like you have to on every call say, oh, hey, by the way, if you guys know anybody who is buying or selling, let me know, right?
Oh, God,
because how does that feel, right? It feels like, oh, well, now Jamie, it kind of, and Scott Gaspard, a friend of mine who we had on the podcast before, he said he doesn't want to taint the good feeling phone call with an ask for business. Right. And I thought that was such great advice. And he sells over 100 houses a year and has for the last 20 plus years. And
he doesn't have Facebook, does he?
Yeah, he doesn't even have social media. And it's like,
God, awesome.
That is really what he's trying to do, right? And a lot of agents will ask me Jamie, what would I even say if I called my past clients? And I always say, use social media in reverse. Go on Facebook or Instagram, or find a life event that happened in their past. I always use the example of hey, you saw their kid graduated high school. Say, hey, I noticed little Johnny graduated high school. Where's he going for college? Or what's he going to school for? Just be curious. Be excitedly curious about their lives, and then just end it with a good feeling like that. Say, I'd love to help you. If I can ever do anything for you, please feel free to reach out. And that feels better than saying, oh, hey, by the way, if you need me, send me some real estate business. There's ways that you can do it that feel right, and I continue that good feeling. They, like you said, they know you're a realtor, or maybe when you're new, you may want to just say, hey, I started something new and I want to just send you my new contact card. If that way you've got it. Or, hey, would you mind I drop the little thank you card in the mail to you? I've got my new business cards in there, and would just love to, let you know where I'm at, what I'm doing, this kind of thing. That's better than saying the other thing. So
yeah, no, I totally agree with all that. That's awesome.
So yeah, let's talk about maybe selecting a brokerage. I know that's like super important, right? I feel like some agents are like, they make some missteps when it's talked about selecting a brokerage. So I know that being a part of a good crew is like probably one of the most important things, but even being on a team might be really important for a new agent to start with. But so let's talk about your thoughts on where a new agent should join, what they should be looking for in a brokerage, what they should be looking for in a team, and give them a little guidance as far as what they should be looking for in that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, remember, you're going into a business with a lot of legal ramifications. Like, these are legal contracts, so you want somewhere that's going to train you. And I love a mentorship program. Any reputable broker is going to have some kind of mentorship program. And sometimes they let you choose the mentor, so maybe you want to interview those people. But at the end of the day, you want to know you're going to get trained to do the transactional processes of real estate. So to me, that's super important. Support is super important as well. You want people around you that are going to be willing to help you. And don't get hung up on if it is a mentorship program, and they're going to charge you for that. Like, every broker that I know of had a mentorship program. They take a percentage of your transaction because that mentor is going to help you through the process. And so don't get hung up on the dollars yet. Get trained, get yourself to where you're producing, and then you can make an adjustment to your broker situation if you want to. But I feel like you have to be surrounded by the people that are going to support you and help you. And if it's a mentorship, some people like a team element. Evaluate what that looks like for you. Is that person going to help you? Are they going to help train you? These are things you need to know, and talk to other people as well. Maybe don't just take their word for it. Talk to a few different brokers. Talk to a few different team leaders. Talk to agents that are in these worlds and see what their take is on these people as well. So you probably got something to add to that. That's the broad strokes for me, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think training is super important, right? And I think that mentorship is super important. I think that being around like top producers is like super important as well, because when I first started, I didn't even know if the broker that I was working for even did any transactions. I didn't know his history. I didn't know what he was about, if he actually did anything, or if he was just, they say the people who can't do teach, right? So I didn't know if he was a top producer or not. I just trusted blindly in them. But like, to me, I think that's where, like, if I was a new agent, right, I want to be the average of my 5 closest friends.
Yeah.
And that's a big piece of it too, because yes, learning how to write a contract is super important, right? But you can have an attorney at a title company teach you the ins and outs of doing a contract. But like learning how to actually generate business for yourself, I think is like so important, because a lot of times these teams or these brokerages will say, I'll buy you leads or whatever. And those things are important, right? Like, because you need to make money. But at some point, you have to learn how to sell real estate. Like you said with the Warren Buffett quote, you have to basically understand the paths and the proven paths that have led people to success in this business, and follow that path again, and then add on to that. So I feel like somebody new to the business needs to follow the blazed trail that top agents have already blazed. And if they're willing to help you, like, that is so valuable. That is insanely valuable.
If somebody would have offered to give me that kind of value, I'd have been so excited. Like, I know you said it, nobody was lining up to give away secrets when I joined or when you joined.
No. But yet now, you could come sit on this little couch right behind me and say, hey, Jamie, or jump on a Zoom call with me or with you and say, like, Jamie, just help me talk through some of my business. Talk through some of my day. Like, if you're an agent who's listening to this, who's maybe struggling right now, like, reach out, jump on a Zoom with me, and I'll gladly walk through some strategies and talk to you about your day. And I might be able to look at it with a fresh set of eyes and say, well, have you considered doing this? Have you considered doing that? And I think that that's super powerful. And I know you and I do that all the time for agents, and we're here loving on agents all day, every day. So, hey, come join us, baby. Come jump in and see what we're doing. And you don't have to be part of our brokerage to do that. You can just be a part of it.
Yeah, I had a little Calendly appointment the other day, and that agent wasn't from Real Broker, and I didn't try to recruit her to Real Broker. She called, I helped her, kind of listened to her, evaluated her business, gave her some tips, and that's it. It's her business, whatever she wants to do with it. But, I was happy to help her. I would say this, we all have access to the MLS. So when you start evaluating your broker, like you talked about, you didn't even know if he sold any.
Right.
You can actually look up stats on every agent in our MLS. So if there's, if they've got great social media and they're awesome on Facebook and all that stuff, I can cut right through every question and go to the MLS and pull their production numbers. And that's going to tell me all I need to know.
There you go.
It's that simple. And so, like, if I see this person I love on Facebook and I go to the MLS and they haven't sold any houses, what are they going to teach me? Obviously, they're not doing it right. Okay? So find the person that's producing first and then put your faith in that, because they're going to be able to show you what they're doing. But if they're not willing to give you their game plan, or they're not showing up in the stats, then it's just not somebody you're going to invest in, and they're not going to invest in you. So be careful out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I look at it like this is absolutely serious business, right? This is people's livelihood we're talking about. This is serious business. And I almost look at it like going to war. And like last week, Eric Hatch, or the week before, Eric Hatch used the scene from Braveheart where they're all lined up and they're ready to go to battle, right? And William Wallace is up there saying, hold, 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 and I feel like that's where we are right now. We're ready to go. We're ready to fight. We're ready to enter the battle, but we're being led and by our leadership, and we're together as a group collectively, like lifting up agents. And that's what I just love about what we're doing and what we're building over here, is because like you and I were in here today with tons of different agents from different networks, and everybody's making calls and having their own wins. And you've got new agents and experienced agents and agents who are doing a lot of volume and agents who are having a lot of individual success of all different types. And I just love it. And just saying like, the girls were saying, oh, he just looked like he just had a win. He's over there making calls. And it's just a fun way to do real estate together with a group, and like that's just what it's all about, man. So I always ask agents, like especially agents who are listening to this and who have been in the business for a while, is I always like to ask agents, like, are you as excited about selling real estate now as you were the day you started in the business? And because there's a lot, man, this is an unbelievable career. The amount of money that we can make is unlimited. There's no ceiling for our income, and you can earn unlimited dollars if you just put in the work. So
it is the most phenomenal vehicle of opportunity I've ever seen. Like realistically, I got into this older, so I wish I had more time. Like when you get to a level, you're like, oh, there's another level, and if you keep your eyes up, you'll see there's just endless opportunity. Some of the people that have made immense wealth have been in real estate. Many of the people have invested in real estate or had a hand in real estate. And so I love it. And you get to help people. And for me, that's fulfilling. So whether it's an agent or a client, I think that's so fun to pour back into people, like everything you've done. To me, I'm not holding it back. Like some people don't want to share that. And I know Jamie's not like that either.
Yeah.
I get that helps me. Like it helps me to give that back. So
yeah,
I'm not worried about that. Like some people, I think there was an old mentality that was almost like a poverty mindset. I don't know a better word for that, but like agents would hold on to their little secrets and they didn't want to share because someone else would go, maybe they're worried about taking their business. But if anything's proven out, is there's an abundance of business out there. There's no one in here that I worry about taking my business. It's just business and it's competition. If they go out and call that person before I do, it's their business. It wasn't my business, right? If I lose a client, it's because it was on me,
right.
Or it was a personality decision. It's not personal. There's plenty more. I'm going to get on the phone. I'm going to go out and talk to people, and we're going to find more business. We lose that mentality, and then you have so many more opportunities, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. And it's a great space to be because obviously I've been living in this space my whole career. I've always been the type of person that's giving it away and in hopes that they can win. It's just a great space to live in your life of just abundance and just giving the opportunity away in hopes to help other agents. And really that's how this whole podcast came about, right? Of here it is, take it. We want you to grow your business. We want to network with you and help you grow your business. So we're talking to new agents right here. Speak to a brand new agent that is about to start their journey. And I'll give you a chance to speak to that new agent and give them a bit of encouragement and what you would advise them to do in their new journey, and then we'll close out the podcast.
Okay, and yes, this one to me is super valuable. Remember, you're starting a business, and with a business, you'll need some financial security. So you'll need a nest egg. I feel like, I don't know, Jamie, you can weigh in on this, 3 to 6 months of survival money. Plus, you're going to pay your dues to start your business. Because you don't want that stress of not having a paycheck to affect your new endeavors in this world, right? So you get into this business, if you get desperate, it's going to harm your advancement, I feel like, because then you start chasing every deal down and your motives may not be correct and you're not really learning. You're striving and you're desperately striving, and it takes a toll on you, and I feel like you don't have success that way. So remember, you're starting a business. It's going to cost you some money. It's going to cost you some time. Be ready to do that first. I see lots of agents that don't make that connection first, and then they come in and in a week or two they realize they don't get a check, and they get scared, and they run off and go back to work. Now, I love the idea of being flexible with that too. We were talking to some of the ladies this morning that are on my team, and they both had part-time jobs, and one was a bartender while she was kind of building her first year or two, about a year and a half in the business. And for her, that was a way to make quick money, keep herself afloat while she learned this business, but not being so committed to it that it took her away from the business, right? So for me, that's one of the most important things. Definitely have your finances and be ready to invest.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Because then it sounds like you have what, like they call it, commission breath, right? Where you're so desperate for, a deal, right? That it sounds like you're desperate, and then you aren't really truly doing what's best for the client. You're doing what's best so that you can pay your rent or your mortgage the next month, right? Like, so that's it's weird because you want to have drive and you want to have these conversations, but you want to do it in such that you can plant seeds and you're not like desperate and they can tell that, hey, this guy's only or girl's only interested in a paycheck. So it's a tough little place to be, and I 100% agree with you that you totally want to have some backup plan or some safety net in the sense that you're not having those kind of conversations and feeling super needy. I think that's like very, very important, so.
And I feel like as a business owner, even prior to this, business is expensive. So this is a business you can get into for a very little investment in the big sphere of things. Like if you're looking at a big business, a commercial business that you're starting out from scratch, you'll need a building, you need equipment, you need all these things. You got payroll. It can be astronomical quick. In real estate, you can pay a few $1,000s for your first year's dues, save up some money so you can pay your rent or your mortgage and eat, and you have a business that you can achieve 6 figures very quickly with little overhead. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Little overhead at the end of the day. Yes, those thousands of dollars hurt in the beginning, but over a few years when you're kicking out 6 figures, those little numbers don't mean as much. You got to pay your dues. Oh yeah, that's done. Got to pay my taxes. Taxes. Talk about that, Jamie.
Yeah,
that's the one I forgot about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's definitely some great advice. Is like you said, going back to this is your business. You are running a business. But I was asking a friend and coworker today about, hey, what should we tell new agents? And she said, oh, well, you got to tell them they got to have an accountant because obviously you go make some money, right? You got to account for those taxes. So it is a business. You need to figure out a way that you're going to not only make money, right, is important, but how are you saving for taxes and what expenses should you be allocating and all of those things. So that's important to know how to, kind of pay taxes and manage the money once you make a business. Just like any good business person should do is they should know all of their numbers. So know your numbers is some great advice too from a friend. So, But I really appreciate your time and helping grow agents, and I figured this would be a super valuable session to be able to share with new agents and help them grow their business and do everything that they can to succeed, because I want everybody to make it in this business. I want people who are willing to show up. I will absolutely 100% help you if I can make the appointment. I will 100% be there to help you out. And if you call me and say, Jamie, I need some help, I need to come talk to you, 100% will absolutely help you. There's no gatekeeping. It doesn't have to be my own people who join the brokerage or the company or anything like that. We're here to help you, 100%, no strings attached. So, and I know you could probably say the same thing, right?
Yeah, that's the one true statement, that all ships rise on a rising tide, right? We all do better together. So there's nothing I'm worried about or selfish about. I'm going to help anybody I can. It's something that I enjoy, and I know many of the agents around here are very similar. So, they're out there. I'm here for you. Anybody's got any questions, definitely reach out to me or Jamie. And
yeah,
got you.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys. So we'll definitely put some of mine and Michael's contact information and put our Calendly links in there, and in the details of this podcast on YouTube, or on the details of the podcast on the audio version of this podcast. So, Michael, thank you so much for everything you're doing for agents here locally in the local market. And thank you so much for just being the type of person like me that just willing to just give it away in hopes that other people can help grow their business. So thanks a million for everything that you do for agents.
Yeah, and you too, man. I appreciate you and all the work you do out there. People don't always know what that looks like behind the scenes, but I see you, man. You're getting it. So let's reduce agent failure rate, one agent at a time. That's the goal.
That's it. Absolutely. Love it. That's a great place to leave it. So, guys, do us a favor. Send this over to a new agent maybe that's interested in getting into the real estate business. Send this to a new agent that may be struggling right now, that's trying to find their way, and they're looking for a path, and maybe they're not making it as they thought they might, or maybe they're kind of down to their last month that they can keep floating this thing. So, guys, I hope that you follow the podcast, like the podcast, do us a favor, give us a great review. We do launch a brand new audio version of the podcast on all of your Spotify's, Apple Podcasts every Monday at 5 a.m., and we do try to launch these as well on YouTube. So, guys, I hope that you guys are enjoying the content. Please let us know if we can help you in any way possible, and I hope that you guys have an amazing day.